Hey guys, so we're back again with another reading, and this one is all about what makes you unforgettable. So, why can't people get you out of their mind? Why are they still thinking on you days, weeks, months, years later? What is it about you that just makes you unforgettable and makes people still keep thinking on you? We're going to get into all of it, and we are going to be doing an extended version of this over on my Patreon. We're going to go into a lot greater detail, talk about the specifics of who can't stop thinking about you, what people these are that still have you on their mind, and more details about your characteristics that makes people keep ruminating about you for so much time. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's over on my Patreon, and the link for that is going to be underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. So come join my Patreon party. And when you do, of course, you'll get access to about 35 existing readings over all kinds of topics. We have love, spirituality, relocation, career, like every topic under the sun. We just posted one all about tricks or treats heading your way. So surprises from spirit, and also what you need to know about what's going on around you. That was really juicy. So there's a lot of readings to choose from. You can head on over to my Patreon and see all the different offerings that you have. So I would love to have you guys there. And like I said, the link for that is underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. So with all of that being said, today we have a beautiful selection of sushi for you guys to choose from, a little bit of a healthy option, I figured. And so I am going to put the numbers up on the screen of each of the different piles so you can see which one is which. And if you guys already feel drawn to a certain pile, you can totally feel free to skip ahead to that pile at any point. Just head on down to the timestamps in the description and in the comments and skip ahead to your pile. If it's your first pick a card reading, you want to go towards the one your energy is feeling called to and drawn to. So go with your first instinct. That's usually going to be the one for you. You don't need to overthink it too much or get in your head about it. Just go with the first one that just seems to be calling your name, drawing you in. Trust that intuition, and that will be the one with the pile with the message for you. So with all of that being said, I also want to mention that I do have private readings available at my website, briarrosetarot.com. So if you'd like a 30-minute session with me or an hour-long session with me, you can get those. Like I said, at my website, briarrosetarot.com, you can sign up in advance and book yourself in to get an exclusive tarot reading about whatever question you have, or if you just want a general energy check-in, if you just want like a traditional psychic reading where we channel, either one of those is totally cool. So head to my website if you'd like one of those, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is also in the description. So with all of that being said, guys, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey, pile one, so let's get into your cards. We're going to do a live shuffle today. I want to see what makes you guys unforgettable. Okay, so we got the Six of Wands, Queen of Wands. You guys might be a fire sign. You might be a Leo, Aries, Sag, with those placements coming out off the top. Then we got the Six of Swords. I feel like you guys are kind of, I want to say like a go-getter or someone who will not tolerate like BS, almost like if it's not working for you, you will leave. You might be known for that. Like you might be known as someone who will just leave a party if you're not feeling the vibe, like if it's not fun or if you're not with your friends, like you show up and maybe you thought someone was going to be there that you like, but no one's there that you really vibe with, and you'll just like leave. Because I feel like people get that vibe of you of like you're hard to get a hold of, you're hard to keep a hold of. Like even if you do show up, if it's not cool, you're out, and you're very like on to the next, quick, always kind of onto something new, very creative as well with that Queen of Wands coming through. So you guys might even like be into art or have a really cool, unique sense of style is what I'm getting. I feel like you guys are very stylish. I also feel like you guys are very attractive and like sexually attractive, to be honest. Queen of Wands definitely can represent that, but I also feel like just in general, there are a lot of people who have a crush on you, or there are a lot of people you might have been known within like your social circle or within your school or workplace place as like the one that everyone had a crush on, or like the one that always could get the guys or get the girls. I feel like you're just very charismatic, but it's funny because you're coming through as kind of like uninterested in it. Like you're not coming through as someone who's like trying to be charismatic, trying to be the center of attention, like, oh my gosh, I hope everyone likes me. It's like you don't really care, and maybe that adds to your charisma. Like you're not trying to get attention, you just are getting attention, you just automatically. It's like I just heard she is the moment. So it's almost like you're not seeking that out. And it's funny because a lot of people would probably love this, but it feels like you sometimes even are like, oh my God, there's like when everyone else is complaining about like, he won't text me back, you might be complaining about like, oh my God, I have all these random texts from these guys and they just are always texting me, like I feel like you would complain about getting too much attention because it just has always come to you. It's funny, you might have like Mars conjunct your ascendant, or Eros conjunct your ascendant, or Mars sextile trine, even an opposition or a square, or Eros aspecting it as well, your ascendant, because I feel like you just naturally have this sexuality. You could also see Pluto aspecting the ascendant, or Scorpio ascendants, Aries ascendants. I could see Aries Venus as well. I just feel like you have this natural like spark to your personality. You have this natural like feistiness. So Scorpio placements would definitely fall under it as well. Yeah, I feel like people are always excited to see what you guys have going on because it's almost like you're very secretive and you keep a lot of people in the dark, and people are very curious to know like what you're doing. And I feel like they have no idea of what you're up to until like the last moment. And then sometimes you'll like reveal it, which is funny because we got the Magician card, and some interpretations of the Magician card talk about like the secrecy of a lot of the symbols on it. So I feel like that's the thing of the magician or doing magic, is sometimes you work in kind of silence and secret, and then you reveal it at the end, right? Just like how the magician might be doing something to put like the rabbit in the hat, but you're not going to ever see or know what he's doing until he wants you to see that moment when he pulls the rabbit out. You're not going to see like the secret trap door in the hat, or the person like handing him the rabbit behind him or whatever it is, because he's being kind of secretive and elusive about it. And I feel like there's something very secretive about you guys. I could also, like, again, definitely Scorpio coming through for sure, because I feel like there's this like desire for privacy that you guys have. But it's funny because it's clashing with also being very center stage. I could also see Leo placements here, or sun, a prominent sun in the chart, sun in the first house or something like that. Mars sun aspects, Pluto, Sun, maybe, but I do feel like you guys just give off this vibe where you're kind of center of attention, but you don't really like it. It's not something you purposefully wanted or sought out or tried for. It's just like a natural thing that always happens to you. It's like people are always checking for you. People always want to see what you have going on. I also feel like a lot of people probably copy what you wear and how you dress. And I do feel like that's a source of frustration to you guys. I feel like you actually don't really like that, and you tend to be like people might even accuse you of gatekeeping or something when it comes to your fashion, because you're like, I'm not going to tell you where this is from, or like, oh, I just got it, I thrifted it, or something. Like you don't, because you've had so many people steal your style or steal your outfit, or suddenly show up the next time you see them in the exact same thing you were wearing, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. And I feel like it's just a natural component of being you, is like you're aware that people notice you, they pay attention to what you do. So just like, other people might dream of that happening, but for you, it's just a normal part of your life. So you're not happy or grateful for it. You're not like, oh my gosh, I'm so flattered you copied me. You're like, another person copying me. Oh my God. I also feel like you guys just have a lot of charisma. Like you're probably really good at meeting new people, or in situations where like maybe you have to present in front of the class, that kind of a thing, where like the teacher calls on you in the middle of the classroom and you have to like give a little speech or something. You would be really good at that. You would kind of know what to say, how to handle yourself. You're just good. I feel like you're very good with your words and very charming, and you can kind of turn it on and off whenever you want. Although I do feel like it's on a lot more than it's off, to be honest. And so, yeah, I feel like a lot of people think of you because you are so elusive. It's almost like you're the one that got away. For a lot of people, they might think back on you and wish they had. I feel like a lot of people wish they had been more forward with you, because I also feel like because you're very Mars dominant, you guys are the type that if someone's not fully like putting it out there, you're not really impressed because you're so Mars oriented, Martian, I guess. You are very like, you need to step your game up with me. You know, when it's Mars, and Mars is like the warrior, they're not going to be impressed by someone doing like three sad little push-ups in the corner of the room. Like when you're coming up to a Mars person, you need to be coming with your A game. You need to be like showing yourself doing sprints and like burpees, and you know what I mean? Like obviously this is a metaphor, but it's like you need to come correct when it comes to a Mars dominant person because they have so much strength themselves. And I feel like if someone like chickens out with you, or like is too scared to ask for your number, or is too like nervous and tries to ask their friend to like talk to you on behalf of them, you just would not be impressed with that. You'd be like, no, like I, no thanks. Like I appreciate it, but that's going to be a no for me. Someone needs to like really come at you with like their whole chest, you know, like they need to come at you and really step up and be aggressive about it. And a lot of people are intimidated by you, so they don't do that. And because of that, I feel like you are the one that got away for a lot of people, where they think back on you and they're like, oh my God, I wish I had been brave enough to say that. I wish I had like gotten my cojones and been bold and just approach them or ask for their number or ask them out to dinner. And you guys might get a lot of weird DMs or like retroactive messages, texts, whatever, like years later from like someone you met once at a party and you kind of knew they had a crush on you or whatever, and suddenly they're like, hi, I'd like you to take you out on a date and blah blah, and you're like, I haven't spoken to you in like 5 years, like what is this, you know? Because I feel like it's almost like someone has to really work up, and when they come at you, it might be like an overwhelm of energy because they're so nervous and they're so afraid of rejection from you, that they kind of like, it might come off kind of awkward and strange because they're just already so agitated emotionally, and they almost might have to like get drunk before they send the text, or they might have to like just be like, screw it, I'm sending it. And so by the time you receive the text, you're like, this is a really odd energy and this is kind of crazy, and like, no thanks. But I feel like you would have a lot of people texting you from your past, because I think people think on you and think about like, wow, they were such a catch. Also because I feel like you guys have a very exciting life. I can see with the Six of Wands that you either already have a popping off social media, or if you would like to do social media, I feel like you guys would be a natural gift at it. A lot of people, like I said, naturally pay attention to you, and you have this charisma about you. You have this natural center of attention energy. So I feel like if you wanted to do something with your social media, like you absolutely could. Two of Cups. A lot of people also think, and I think this is why you're the one that got away, a lot of people also think that you would make an excellent partner, because even though you have this Martian, Aries, Scorpio, like fiery quality to you, I also feel like you guys are very supportive of the people you really love. And like I was saying, I feel like when you want to, you can be super charming in conversation. And I feel like everyone wants a partner, right? Who's good at conversation, who's not going to be like boring to talk to, who's going to be, you know, saying interesting things. And you definitely have that quality. You definitely would be someone that like, I feel like people just imagine spending like a lazy Sunday with you, like walking to go watch a movie at the movie theater and then walking back and having like lunch at a little cafe and then coming home and reading the newspaper. Like you're just that kind of person that would make that interesting. You're also very smart is what I'm getting. Like like I said, you're good at conversation, you're good at perceiving situations, you're good at like processing things. So I feel like when you do talk, look at that Ace of Swords. I didn't even process that as I was saying how smart you guys are, but that is a very intelligent, like, and you know, the Ace of Swords is also like brilliant conversation, really like sudden bursts of insight and sudden random inspirations. And so I feel like you're that person that you would maybe sometimes say things out of left field, or someone's like, oh, like she's really hot. And then you surprise them when you're talking because like you're just super smart and you say things that are kind of like weirdly brilliant. And Mars and Aries definitely has that quality as well, as like something very fresh, something very new, something that like someone's like, oh my God, I never really thought about that. But yeah, you're right. That's kind of true. But it almost seems like it comes from left field. So I feel like even though I just heard the phrase like dating her is like dating 40 other women, because I feel like you're always changing, you're always keeping people, you change a lot. I feel like you guys have had so many iterations of like your life, even though you might be, well, obviously you're the same person, but I feel like you just would change a lot. Like you would move a lot, or you would change jobs a lot, or you would change styles a lot. I feel like you just keep people on their toes, and a lot of people lurk your social media. A lot of people also get their cues about what's cool from you, because I feel like regardless of your age, you just innately have this sense of cool. Like it's not something that is limited to age or is limited to whatever you have going on in your life. It's kind of like I'm seeing Sarah Jessica Parker. She is a Venus Aries, by the way. I don't know her sun. But she, I think she exemplifies that with like how her fashion and style, and she's this fashion icon even though she's like what, 50 or something, and she's still a huge fashion icon and has been for like at least 20 years, right? And it always seems like her style is very fresh, very like outside the norm, like things you wouldn't put together. I know it wasn't like completely styled by her, but I feel like she exemplifies, like she pulls off that character of someone that you could really imagine just throwing together this outfit that's kind of crazy, but you're like, that's actually super cool. And she always is changing her fashion style. Like in the show, she's always like dressing really feminine one day and then dressing really sporty and Aries one day. So I feel like you guys have that vibe of people just don't know what to expect. So a lot of people think about you guys. I know that's the topic of this as a reading, but I feel like pile one, you guys have a lot of people who can't forget you. A lot of people who keep track, check your social media like habitually. Let's see what other cards we're gonna get. I think I'm gonna pull from this deck. What can you tell me about pile one? What makes them unforgettable, Spirit? The Sun Dancers, joyful activity, celebration of life, abundance. Wow. And I feel like that is something that is definitely coming through when it comes to you guys. There's something about you that's very joyful, full of life, fun, like bon vivant vibes, like you could take a boring party and make it fun. You might not choose to stay around and actually do that, but if you wanted to, you could. It's almost like, I just heard that phrase, the party don't start till I walk in, from TikTok. And I feel like that's you. You guys are that person that if you show up, people are like, oh, this is actually kind of a cool party. Maybe it was lame before, but when you walk in, just in your clothes, outfit, the way you carry yourself, first of all, it is very cool. But second of all, just also your personality, and like you'd be that person that might like dare someone to chug a thing of champagne, or like, I don't know, like start a really like lively debate that's not like depressingly people arguing, but that's like fun, like people arguing over something but in a fun way, like arguing over what the best movie in a certain franchise was, or something random, something kind of silly, but like it brings everyone together and everyone's laughing. I feel like that's you guys. You kind of remind people to like take it easy a little bit, to have fun, to enjoy, to that like life isn't so serious, that life is about like laughing and enjoying yourself. But you combine that with this very strong boundaries that we're picking up on again. And I feel like people really respect you. They see that you have this duality. And I've mentioned this before, but a lot of times I find certain sex symbols and people who have this kind of energy tend to have very contrasting astrology charts. So the two major things that I'm picking up on are actually with energies we already mentioned for this reading, Scorpio and Aries. And it's specifically with Pisces Aries, but you could also see it with Taurus Aries as well. Kind of contrasting energies that often have like transits together with the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and then also Scorpio, Libra, because it's that contrast of like hard and soft, yin, yang, duality is where things really start getting interesting. Night and dark, moon, sun, summer, winter. Duality is what I think makes someone fascinating. And I feel like you have that quality where you're very open, you're very happy, you're very like positive, you're very creative. and cute and sweet to the people you are close to, but you can kind of cut it off. And if someone like annoys you, you'll be like, okay, that's it. I'm not talking to this person ever again. They're blocked. And you will like absolutely put someone in their place, or you will just remove yourself from the situation. And you know, the thing about Aries is it's quick and it makes up decisions quick. So someone might even be like, oh my God, like, why are you overreacting? That's not a big deal. Like, you're so mad about this. I can't believe you cut them off because of it. But you're like, I made up my mind. I feel like you guys are kind of impulsive, or you make up your decisions quickly, and people don't realize that there's an aspect here of you trusting your intuition and a spirituality here. I do feel like some people pick up on this Altar Priestess card we got, so people can see this kind of sacred, intuitive part of you that does come out. I feel like a lot of people are really intimidated by you because of that. There's a very strong aura of power around you guys. Like, I don't know if you did something powerful in a past life. You might have been a priestess or something. I don't know. But I just feel like there's something about you that a lot of people are intimidated. You might be surprised by how many people are intimidated by you, pile one. You might be like, but I'm really nice. And you don't realize that like this person from your past was intimidated by you. That person that was kind of shady to you was because they were intimidated and jealous. I feel like you really have this effect on so many people where they kind of don't really know how to proceed with you. I also feel like there's an aspect here where people just assume that you date kind of like top tier type people, whether you're a man or a woman. I feel like people assume that you have a very full dating calendar, or you have a lot of offers. So again, this might be why a lot of people are coming through with regret and wishing they had reached out to you earlier. But it's almost like they just assumed that like you were already in a relationship, or that you had like amazing people competing for your attention, and that you would never pay attention or even notice them. So I feel like there's a lot of people that didn't even try when it came to you, because they were like, okay, that person's out of my league. They date XYZ kind of person. I mean, it obviously might differ if you're a man or a woman or whatever you're into. But they would just assume that whoever you're dating is like someone who's powerful, or someone who's super attractive, or someone who like, I just feel like you seem like someone whose dating calendar is always full. So it's kind of reminding me of like, I think it was Cameron Diaz who said like she never gets asked out ever. Back when she was single, she was like, oh, I never ever get asked out, like ever. And it's probably because people are intimidated, men are intimidated by her. And I feel like that happens a lot with you. And then people have time to reflect. And like I said, that might be why you get the weird DMs years later where you're like, wait, where were you? Like, where were you at the time? This is so odd. Let me get some more of these cards here. Can you tell me what makes pile one unforgettable? What makes pile one unforgettable? Any other energies that want to come through? We got Eyes of the Eagle rising above the fray. That's definitely a vibe for you guys. And I do feel like people might think sometimes you're a bit of a snob because of that. But I feel like they have time to kind of process it later and realize that that was like a very kind of silly way to perceive you, a very one-dimensional way. But again, I feel like people that might be in a lower vibrational energy, kind of a jealous energy, they might take it as like, oh, well, they think they're better than us. That's why they left the party early. Or, oh, well, they think they're too good to date me, you know, and there's like this resentment that might happen sometimes. And actually it's just a projection because they think you're better. You know, that's their thought of you. If they were being fully honest, they wouldn't be saying like, I think she's a snob. They'd be saying, I think she's better than me. I don't think I'm good enough. Because I feel like almost like also naturally you guys become a leader. You might have randomly found a lot of people like will defer to you or ask you questions, or if everyone's talking about like, where should we go to eat? And you're like, well, I don't know, I could go for pizza. Everyone's like, let's do pizza. Yeah, let's do pizza. You know, and it's one of those things where you're like, why is everyone listening to me? Or like, I didn't even want, or like you, maybe back in school, you would randomly get elected to like the school board and you're like, I didn't even run. Like, why did you guys put my name in there? You know, or something like that, where naturally you tend to just be like, put in positions of authority. But I feel like it's because people see this energy around you. And like I said, you might have lived past lifetimes where you have been in positions of authority, or you've just been around that, and people just see you as that's kind of your natural thing. So I feel like a lot of people also might go to you for advice and stuff because they just really trust your judgment. And I feel like you guys don't even really give yourselves credit with how smart you are. You're very smart and good at perceiving different situations. Let's get some astro dice as well for pile 1 and see what the astro dice have to say. So we got the 9th house, Aries, and oh my gosh, we got Pluto. So just the energies I was picking up on. I love when that happens. So that's really funny. So obviously Pluto, Scorpio, then we have Aries, which we've talked a lot about, Mars, first house. So we have 10th house, I'm sorry, 8th house, Pluto, Scorpio. Then we have Aries, first house, Mars. Then we have 9th house, Sagittarius, and Jupiter. And one thing I was meaning to mention, I kind of touched on it a little earlier, is I feel like you guys always have changed your identity, and I'm getting that Sagittarius vibe. You might travel a lot, or there might be something that's just people kind of find you very unpredictable. You might be someone who like has really changed jobs or really changed how you dress or something where it feels like you're always on to the next. You're always going places, you're always doing things, you're always like with a new group of friends or in a new relationship or just on something new. And I feel like you never, hardly ever stay in a stagnant energy. And I feel like a lot of people are intimidated. They also might kind of resent this and kind of make rude comments about like, well, how are they paying for this? Or like, well, it's probably her boyfriend paying for everything or something like that. But I feel like mostly people respect this and it kind of inspires them of like, maybe I could do something like that. You know what? That's kind of cool that they totally quit their job and started working somewhere new within 2 weeks and they seem to be loving it. And you know what? Maybe I should quit my job because I kind of am bored and I hate it. So I feel like you really inspire people to like push themselves a little bit out there, to try something new, to be really bold, and also to be unafraid. Also, people can tell you have a very I feel like a strong way of communicating. I'm almost feeling like Aries Mercury could also be Aries 3rd house or Mercury aspecting Mars, but I do also, it could be Scorpio Mercury because that's also very intense and very truthful, or Mercury aspecting Pluto. But I feel like when you speak, sometimes you say things that are like scarily truthful that like no one else will say. No one else would actually feel comfortable putting it out there, but you will be like, oh, sure, I'll say it. I don't care. So I think this. And so it's funny. You can be, like I said, very charming. And it might be because of your charm that you can like get away with this. Whereas someone else might not be able to get away with saying that. You would know exactly how to word it, but you're also just going to say what you feel. But I feel like you kind of get a pass and almost like people might think about it afterwards and be like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. Or like, I can't believe that, you know, I can't believe that they're so charming and that no one got mad at them for saying that, or that they just felt comfortable being bold enough to say that. There's just a lot of awe I feel like people have of you. It's almost like you're like a movie character or something, and people are just kind of watching to see what you do next. So I do feel like you guys have a lot of lurkers on your social media, even if you're not aware of it, even if you're like, well, I don't know. I don't think I have that many people paying attention to me from my past. I feel like you do. They might watch through fake accounts or stuff like that. Or if you don't post anything on social media, they might be like just randomly searching up, trying to find your LinkedIn, trying to find like your random Netflix account and find you that way. Like, I feel like people just really are super curious about you because you keep people on their toes. If you were a TV show, you'd be like one of those really chaotic ones that's always not chaotic in a bad way, but like, you know, ones that are always like in the season finale and it's really dramatic, you know, and always there's like the pregnancy scare episode and then the like wedding episode and then like something gets blown up episode, and like one of those shows it's just like you gotta tune in every week because it's always changing. So anyways, guys, I think that's what I have for you today. We are going to be taking this reading over to Patreon to finish it out and doing the extended version over there, and we're going to get into a lot greater detail about your characteristics that are making you unforgettable and about the people that keep thinking of you. So why are you so unforgettable to them? Who are these people? Getting into the specifics of who this might be from your past or present situation and why you have made this impression on them. We're going to get into all of it, and there's a lot of juicy details that come out. So if you would like to see that Patreon, the link is underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. And of course, when you do sign up, you get access to all of my Patreon readings. So 35 existing readings over all kinds of topics: love, spirituality, career, relocation, There's so many topics to choose from, about 35. So a lot to go through. And we just posted one all about tricks or treats from the universe headed your way. So surprises coming for you, as well as what's going on around you that you need to be aware of with the people around you. So that one's a pretty juicy one. A lot of fun though, and there's so much to choose from Patreon. So I would absolutely love to have you guys join and have you join our little community party that we have going on over there. So like I said, link for that is underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how it resonated. I love hearing from you guys, love hearing your thoughts, opinions, and any insight you have about how this does apply to your life. It's always so fun for me to read how it applied to you. So please let me know in the comments, and make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, guys, and make sure to subscribe as well. I would love to have you here at our little Brighter Rose Tarot community. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can find out as soon as I post and be the first to know. And if you guys would like a private one-on-one session with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and get a half-hour or full-hour session and ask me very specific questions about a situation you want to know about. Or if you would like me to just openly channel, we can do that as well. So I would love to do a reading for you guys if you want that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you lots of love and light. Have an amazing day, guys, and take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. We're going to do a live shuffle today to figure out what makes you unforgettable to others. Okay, so we got the Empress. As I was shuffling before I started the reading, I kept seeing a mermaid in my mind. And I feel like that there's something about that that's very connected to your energy. There's something very gentle, sweet, and soft about you guys, something very giving to others. Like you are more of a giver, less of a taker. I also feel like there's something very creative and very thoughtful about you guys, almost like soft spoken. You might not be someone who gives your opinion super boldly or strongly, or who is going to like tell someone off if they don't get along with them. I feel like you're more the type to be like, okay, I disagree. And there's something very like I said, giving and loving, and also genteel. Like I feel like you guys have excellent manners. And so because you are so gentle, you might have almost had people in your past who might have like walked over you because of that. And they might think of you now and kind of really regret how they acted, or think about how you deserved a lot better than that, or think about how you were just so nice to them despite all of that, despite the fact that they didn't treat you that great. I feel like you have a lot of people in your past who look back at you with a lot of fondness, a lot of really good memories. It's not like they resent you or are angry. You don't come across as someone who naturally wants to be the center of attention, or is trying to like boldly come in there and demand people pay attention to you. I feel like there's something, like I said, very gentle about you, and almost like because you're not trying to be the center of attention, you naturally become it, because you're someone who is just like soft and sweet, and almost like feels like a warm place for someone to land, or like a soft place for someone to lay their head. I feel like you guys would make an excellent cuddler as well. If you're like, I'm not really into cuddling or something, maybe people just get this vibe of you, but there's something very cuddly, warm, and soft and creative about you. We did get the Empress, and the Empress is also extremely creatively fertile. I mean, she's fertile in general, but she's also someone who, you know, has this gift of creativity and has this gift of kind of thinking in those terms, thinking about the other realm and bringing projects forth. And so I feel like if you guys aren't writers or creatives or artists in some way, you naturally have that gift, or you come across that way. You come across a little bit as like head in the clouds. And I feel like that's another reason why people can't stop thinking about you, is because you're very kind of, like I said, otherworldly. You're very creatively fulfilling. I could see you guys being someone's muse. I could see people like I feel like there's something about you that makes people want to give to you, want to take care of you and look after you, or even like write a book or a song about you. Something about you that I feel like just inspires people. You almost seem like you could be a character from a book or a movie or a TV show. where there's some kind of gentle quality, you know? You're not like, hey, pay attention to me and I want this. You're someone who's very like giving and loving to others, and you would probably be the person who's like, hey, did you want this? You can go ahead and take it. I don't need it. So there's something super kind about you. You almost feel like you could be a protagonist in a novel or something like that. I feel like people assume because of that that you might have attract romantic partners who really want to take care of you and look after you. And I do feel like you attract people in general who want to take care of you and look out for you and just kind of give to you. I know you might be like, hey, where are these people who want to give to me? Like, I'm ready. Come on, bring it on. But I do feel like whether these people actually act on it or not, you kind of give the vibe of like, I'm seeing like a girl on a cold night and a guy's like handing her his jacket, you know, that kind of a thing. Like, you might really bring gentlemanly behavior out of men if you're a woman or a feminine. You might find that like a guy who's not usually opening doors is going to be like opening doors for you and pulling out your chair for you or something. Or if you're a guy, you might find women who are like happy to look after you and kind of mother you a little bit to a certain extent. Because there's almost like, I don't want to say a lost soul, because that sounds kind of dark and like not good. And I don't mean it that way, but I think it's very attractive actually. Like, I think there's something kind of like, and again, I don't want to say tragic because that sounds really bad, but kind of like receptive and captivating about you, you know, something very like something that draws people's attention in and makes them want to take care of you and makes their heart open up. You don't feel like you're going after people and trying to hurt people. You feel like you are truly a gentle, good soul. So it's almost like someone might find themselves giving to you in a way that they've never given to anyone else. Like maybe they were super selfish in all other relationships, but when it comes to you, suddenly they're like, you know what? I really want I want to take care of you and I'm giving you a car or something like that. I mean, obviously that's really crazy, but you know, I just feel like you, and maybe like with their past exes, they were super stingy and they would never give anyone anything. But there's something about you that makes people kind of want to not fight, makes people want to just give and take care of you and look after you. Let me get some more cards for pile 2. So can you give me clarity for pile 2? So we got Temperance, okay. 4 of Cups, the Magician reversed, and the 8 of Pentacles. So there's something very, like I was saying, dreamy, creative, intuitive, imaginative about you. I feel like you really do almost live in a dream world and have a very cool and unique sense of style and way you dress and way you carry yourself. I feel like there's something quite cute about you guys, and very different. You might almost be like shy or quiet or introverted or something, and a lot of people might be curious about you and intrigued about you and feel like, wow, that person's really cool, but like they never talk and I don't want to be awkward and come up and talk to them, and we've never spoken to each other, and so it'd be weird, so I'm not going to say anything. So I feel like that's a reason why people still think of you from their past, is like they might have wanted to talk to you, but they were afraid to scare you off, or they were afraid to say too much, or they were afraid that if they came on too strong that you would be like really overwhelmed. We did get the 10 of Wands, which can be like a card of overwhelm. So you guys might literally be kind of physically, I don't want to say like physically sensitive or physically fragile, or be the kind of person that would like easily faint or easily like get out of breath and like have to stop working out or something. Or just like when the conversation gets really intense and heavy and people are talking and everyone's arguing and screaming, you're like, I'm just going to leave the room. I just can't deal with this. And I feel like that just makes people, like I said, want to look after you, want to take care of you, feel very protective of you, feel like you're kind of this gentle spirit, like not made for this world, that you're more like cut out from, I want to say like the astral plane, like you would fit in there. You would fit in if you were a mermaid and life was just about like drifting around and dreaming and like collecting shells and having a, you know, a beautiful life, then you would fit in perfectly. But when it comes to like paying taxes and having to deal with all the hardships of this world, that might be something that, you know, you might need a little help with. I also could see you guys being really good at dealing with small children or even pets and animals being really drawn to you. And I feel like people think of you as someone who would make a great parent, who would make a great like babysitter or dog vet owner, you know, or dog owner, vet, someone who would take care of animals and people just flock to. Yeah, there's this just beautiful soft quality to you guys that I think people find quite fascinating. I'm hearing that phrase soft femininity. So I feel like if you were, maybe that's like a style some of you guys dress, but it's almost like you're the type of person who wouldn't be raising your voice and shouting and screaming at people. You would be that person who would be like, oh, that's okay. I understand your difference of opinion. I feel like your voice is quite captivating as well. And if you were like a type of song, you would maybe be something very soft and gentle and lilting, like some, I don't know, indie soft rock or like ambient noise or very like a soft melody, you know, not like heavy metal or anything like that. You'd be something very dreamy and kind of otherworldly about it. Let me get some other cards to figure out what else is coming. Oh my gosh. That is kind of crazy, right, guys? Oh my gosh, I love doing the live shuffle because of this. We literally just got a mermaid, and that's what I was seeing so strongly, like I told you guys in this reading beforehand. Wow. What is this connection to mermaids you guys have? That's crazy. But I feel like what's coming through with the mermaid to me is like I'm seeing the image of, I don't know if it's in Ariel or maybe it's in like Peter Pan when they go to that mermaid cove, but I'm seeing the mermaids like just sunning themselves on the rocks and brushing their hair out and just like swimming around and being joyful. And I feel like that's your natural state. Like you're not someone that likes to push yourself super hard. And when you have to, it's like might be a little dysfunctional for you. It might not be your natural state of being as someone who's like pedal to the metal. You might even be something like a projector in human design that requires a lot of rest and that kind of has a delicate constitution. Someone who might just need to take a little bit of breaks. And I feel like, again, I don't want any of this to seem like a bad thing because I actually feel like this is what makes you unforgettable. This kind of gentle quality. If you've ever felt like someone underestimated you or like maybe even something like you got embarrassed in a social situation and someone made fun of you, I feel like you would be surprised that a lot of people don't perceive that as like, what a loser. They perceive it as like, wow, she was so gentle and nice. And like that person was such a douche to her because she's such a sweetheart. And maybe, yeah, she didn't fight back and maybe she didn't say anything horribly nasty back and put that person in their place. But she, you know, she's so sweet and she's lovely. And this other person's like a jerk for doing that. Because I feel like it's almost like because you don't fight back that you get really good karma because of it. And people just will like come to your aid. People want to help you. People want to take care of you. They want to look after you. Let's see what else we're getting. The Hawk Print, spirit communication, paying attention. The Chess Queen, trust, strategizing. Yeah, there's something very smart and intellectual about you guys as well. But it's not just purely intellectual. I also feel like you guys, you look younger than your age. Whatever age you are, you look younger and you have a younger quality to you. You have a quality that people almost see you as so sweet and gentle and young. And I feel like that's kind of exciting to them. Like almost like, I know this is really weird, but maybe sometimes people want to like corrupt you a little bit. I know that sounds really weird and strange, but I feel that because you are so gentle and because you seem so not jaded, that's exciting, right? Like we always want to be with someone who's not just jaded and it's not just their like thousands date that they're on and that they have done it a million times before and they don't care. You feel like you're very wide-eyed and open no matter what's going on. You kind of might feel or act or treat it like it's like your first date or your first time going to this movie, going to the movies, you know, or your first time going somewhere. Like you're never, I feel like you're never just in this jaded, bored energy of like, whatever, I don't care, I've been here a million times. You're very like open to things and you're very like happy to show that to people. You're very giving of yourself, honestly, because that's part of the reason why I feel like people want to give to you and take care of you, is because you kind of reciprocate with your energy. Like, you know, when you give someone a gift, you want to see them all excited. You want to see them like opening it and happy and like jumping up and down. And you would give that to someone. You would be happy to show them like the smile on your face, and like it would be very genuine as well. You're not faking, you're not trying to come off this way, but you don't really mean it. You genuinely would be like that level of excited. So let's get some of these cards as well. Spirit, can you tell me what makes pile 2 unforgettable? What makes pile 2 unforgettable? Jeweled web, connectivity, caterpillar, opportunity, revelation, unmarked trail, Garden of Venus. There's a strong Venusian energy, picking up on a lot of Pisces and Libra coming through. It could be Taurus as well. But I do feel like you have that gentle quality that I see with a lot of Pisces and a lot of Libras. And you feel very like not egotistical. Like you're not someone who, like I said, needs to be the center of attention or wants things to be their way. You're very compromising of others. And so I feel like sometimes people might almost like run over you, or not have been as giving back to you. And I feel like you should know that a lot of them do regret how they treated you, and they think back and they're like, wow, I wish I would have been more giving like them, or they were so kind to me and I should have been a lot nicer to them. I feel like some of you guys, you might be into like really cool different subcultures or different ways of dressing, or very unique styles of dressing that a lot of people might have never heard of before, and you're like the first person to wear a certain style, or you're the first person to try you know, a certain way of dressing, or you're into a subculture or a way of dressing that's popular in another country or with a different group. But I feel like you're very open-minded to all of that. You keep yourself very energetically open to the world, and I think that's what's really attractive about you guys. You just don't feel jaded and closed off like most people do. So let me get some astro dice as well for pile 2. So we got Venus. Why is that not a surprise? We just got Venus. And then we got Aquarius, and then the 10th house, Capricorn. So we have Aquarius, Capricorn, and Libra and Taurus coming through. So Venus is all about appreciation of beauty, which I feel like you guys naturally have an innate beauty, grace, decorum with how you carry yourself. You're very graceful. The way you speak is very attractive. Like I feel like you would be very diplomatic. You guys would make great diplomats, because you wouldn't rush into a situation and say something really crazy or controversial, or just be like, you know what, I'm saying it, I don't care. Like you would just be the graceful person who knows how to handle a situation, who knows how to diffuse it, who would just be able to say things in a very like way that makes everyone else happy. And then we have Aquarius. So that is a very unpredictable energy. It's ruled by Uranus, planet of surprises. And it also relates to the 11th house of other people, also of hopes and dreams and wishes. So I do feel like you guys feel like that head in the clouds, very wishful thinking energy. And also with Aquarius, you know, like I said, there's something very different and unique about you. You might be into, like I said, a certain subculture of like a certain movie that was really popular, or a musical genre that like requires people to dress a certain way. But I feel like there's something that you're always exploring, you're always trying new things, you're into different things than a lot of other people are used to. So at first, they might even think it's a little strange, and then it might be something where it takes time to catch up, and then they're like, oh wow, like that's so cool. Like I just saw that everywhere, and pile 2 was wearing that like 10 months ago. And now everyone else is dressing that way, or I'm seeing this movie they told me about all over the media, and they were the first ones to bring it up. So people definitely notice that. And then we have 10th house Capricorn energy. And you know, Capricorn is about boundaries. It can also be about, I mean, it's ruled by Saturn, and it can also be about hardships and difficulties. And like I said, I feel like there's a vulnerability about you guys that people find very attractive. It's not the hard-edged part of you. It's the soft, ooey gooey center that you have, you know. It's the soft, open-hearted, kind of gentle side to you. that I feel like contrast with how so many other people are very closed off nowadays, and maybe they are afraid of being hurt, so they don't want to open up to anyone. And you're the opposite. You're someone who will always be very giving of yourself, giving to others, very loving, very exploratory of something new. You're not in that kind of jaded, angry energy. I feel like you have just let, if you have had a lot of hardships, you just kind of let them roll over you, but not actually alter or change who you are as a person. This is why I said I'm seeing the image of someone like being really rude to someone, and maybe no one else says anything, and maybe in the moment it looks like they took an L, but afterwards everyone's kind of on the side of the person that got screamed at, you know? And so if that has happened to you, or you've had experiences where you felt a little left out or you felt a little ostracized, just know that I think a lot of people who think about those situations, they look back and they actually would take your side, or they see, you know, you being the right party in it, and they might even regret how they handled themselves in that. So yeah, I feel like you definitely leave a mark on a lot of people, pile two, and a lot of people just want to take care of you and look after you. Also, I'm hearing you guys have really beautiful, amazing hair, and that's another thing that people really appreciate about you guys. So anyways, guys, I think that's what I have for you today. We are going to be taking this reading over to Patreon to finish it out and doing the extended version over there, and we're going to get into a lot greater detail about your characteristics that are making you unforgettable, and about the people that keep thinking of you. So why are you so unforgettable to them? Who are these people? Getting into the specifics of who this might be from your past or present situation, and why you have made this impression on them. We're going to get into all of it, and there's a lot of juicy details that come out. So if you would like to see that Patreon, the link is underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. And of course, when you do sign up, you get access to all of my Patreon readings. So 35 existing readings over all kinds of topics: love, spirituality, career, relocation. There's so many topics to choose from, about 35. So a lot to go through, and we just posted one all about tricks or treats from the universe headed your way. So surprises coming for you, as well as what's going on around you that you need to be aware of with the people around you. So that one's a pretty juicy one. A lot of fun though, and there's so much to choose from Patreon. So I would absolutely love to have you guys join, and have you join our little community party that we have going on over there. So like I said, a link for that is underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how it resonated. I love hearing from you guys, love hearing your thoughts, opinions, and any insight you have about how this does apply to your life. It's always so fun for me to read how it applied to you. So please let me know in the comments, and make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, guys, and make sure to subscribe as well. I would love to have you here at our little Brighter Rose Tarot community. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can find out as soon as I post and be the first to know. And if you guys would like a private one-on-one session with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and get a half-hour or full-hour session and ask me very specific questions about a situation you want to know about. Or if you would like me to just openly channel, we can do that as well. So I would love to do a reading for you guys if you want that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you lots of love and light. Have an amazing day, guys, and take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. Hey Pile 3, welcome to your reading. We are going to do a live shuffle today and figure out what makes you, Pile 3, unforgettable. What makes Pile 3 unforgettable? Okay, so we got the Chariot leading off the reading, so that relates to Cancer. So you guys might be Cancer placements. We also got the Eight of Swords and the King of Wands. Wow. A lot of power coming through this reading. You know, the Chariot is such a powerful energy. So is the King of Wands and the Three of Wands. So I feel like there's something about you guys that's just very strong and kind of like won't take no for an answer. Like if you put your mind to something, you're going to do it, and you don't care what anyone has to say. You don't care if they're trying to hold you back, if they're trying to put you off it. You're like, I am going to do this, and you come mind your business. And I feel like there's something so bold and exploratory about you. I mean, the Three of Wands is really a card of exploration and card of being very bold and going for it, and, you know, being on the kind of cusp of something new. And I feel like that's you. Like, whereas other people might get scared in a certain situation or might get very settled into a routine, I feel like you guys are that type of person that you're always on to the next, you're always on to something new, you're always ready to try. The people around you might get scared about a certain thing or be like, well, I don't really know, like I'm kind of nervous. And I feel like you're that person that's like, well, let's just do it. I don't care. Sure, let's go. So I feel like a lot of people love to, first of all, track your social media, because if you post about this at all on your social media, I feel like it's just very unpredictable and people are excited to see what you have up your sleeve, because I feel like you keep people guessing, you know, because you're so new now next. You're always on to something new, something different, that people never really know what to expect from you, and they like to follow along with social media to see like the new company you're working at or the new place you're traveling to or the new place you move to. You're just very like taking things as they come and being unafraid. And I feel like also a lot of people see you in like conversation or in your interactions with others as just very bold and exciting. Like you might be that person that always has a funny story to tell or always has some new like factoid that they're sharing, you know? So like I feel like conversation with you would never get dry and boring, because you're just always going to be like, hey, I heard this, or like, okay, so what do you guys think of this like controversial opinion or this funny story? Like, no one has to worry about you showing up to a party or to a dinner and just being kind of boring and sitting in the corner and being like really quiet and not saying much. It feels like you always have something exciting going on, something very bold, something very fun, something that people are like, whoa, I can't believe that. And I feel like even afterwards, after you leave the party or the function, people are asking like your friends about you, or they're asking the host like, who was that girl? Like, did she just tell us she was like climbing a mountain in the Alps this summer? Like, that's crazy. Or did she just say that she like just switched to this new job and she moved across the country and she like didn't know anyone and she moved in 2 weeks notice? Like, I feel like that's very captivating to people. They're very like intrigued by how unafraid you are, how bold, how much you put yourself out there. And it kind of inspires other people to do the same thing, to like try something new, to go somewhere new. So I feel like a lot of people get inspired by you and they feel like you're kind of this force of nature. Like I feel like a lot of people wouldn't bet against you or wouldn't want to go against you, because some people are intimidated by you because you guys are quite smart and intelligent. And I feel like when you put your mind to something, it's almost like you could accomplish absolutely anything and there's no way someone could bet against you, because you just have that determination, that grit, that when you decide on something, that's it, it is happening, you know? So yeah, I think a lot of people just really respect the heck out of how you guys carry yourselves in that way. Let's get some more cards for pile 3. We got the Hermit, 6 of Wands. The Devil. Okay, wow. Powerful energy coming through. And look, we have 1, 2, 3 major arcanas, and then we have 2 court cards coming through. I mean, the King of Wands is so powerful, and I feel like the Knight of Cups is as well. It's one of my favorite cards, and I feel like, you know, one thing that unites them is the level of charisma, and we can see that is in the 6 of Wands as well. You guys might have also felt drawn to pile 1, because I could kind of see you have 2 of the same cards, and I could see that energy for you as well. So if you felt drawn to that, you can always watch that. But yeah, I feel that there's a very charismatic, like all eyes on me kind of vibe, and like you know how to handle yourself in conversation. So even if you're saying something controversial, or like I said, I don't feel like you guys are afraid to give your opinion. I don't feel like you would shy away and be like, well, I don't want to say it because, well, it's going to be controversial and people are going to be upset. You just be like, yeah, I think this, and you just say whatever you want. But because you have this level of charisma, you can kind of say what you want and get away with certain things that other people might not be able to. But I feel like what's different from pile 1 is you're not as secretive. You know, you're just much more like, it is what it is. I'm putting myself out there and I don't really care if you like it. I'm not trying to hide. I'm not trying to be mysterious. I just feel this way and that's what I want to do. Also, you guys are coming through as very adventurous to me. I wouldn't be surprised if members of this pile were like going skydiving or rock climbing or bungee jumping or doing crazy things, or you'd be known in your friend group as like, you'll eat whatever, or, you know, something like that, where like things other people would shy away from and be scared of. And I feel like you're happy to do. And I feel like that gives you this very attractive wands energy, because I think what's so attractive about wands, and they do relate to sexuality, so they are known as very attractive, and they relate to fire signs in astrology. So that could be Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius in your chart. But what makes them attractive is that they're never kind of this settled, boring energy. There's always this spark of fire and life and boldness. And of course, that's what we want in relationships or in life in general or in sexuality, is just that, that spark of something that means something and that has power and that passion, and that someone who really cares, someone who's not just like going through the motions, but someone who is invested in it. And I feel like you are bold and you would like inspire people to maybe step out of their comfort zone a little bit. Maybe try something new with that devil card. You might kind of inspire people where they might look back on you and be like, well, I always drink a lot when I'm around pile 3, or I always, maybe spend too much money when I'm around them or something, but not in a bad way, not like you're trying to do something evil. I just feel like your boldness and unafraidness that you bring to life rubs off on other people, and maybe not everyone can hang. Like, you might be able to get away with doing some of these things. You might be the kind of person that could drink a little too much, or, get in trouble for something and talk your way out of it. And your friends might not have this same level of charisma. So you might be able to laugh it off and be like, oh, that was a crazy night. But they're like, no, that was like bad. Or like, I got in a lot of trouble for that with the boss, And I feel like people really marvel, because I do feel like you guys are good at getting yourselves out of trouble. Like, you might have had situations with bosses where you're like always cutting out of work early. Like, I feel like this kind of character a lot of times is like a villain in like movies or books, but I don't mean you guys are like a villain. But it's almost like you're that person that like could walk into the office an hour late or something and then like schmooze your way out of it, and people might get mad. Or like in a group project, you might be that person that like doesn't do any of the work and then comes in last minute and like still gets an A because you're like really charismatic or something. And you might have had a little bit of jealousy around you because of that. But again, I think a lot of that is actually just people respect that. And it kind of makes them reframe like, maybe it's okay if I've been like coming in early for every single day, even when I'm exhausted. And, they came in an hour late and they got away with it. And, maybe I can sleep in for that extra 30 minutes and come in just on time. Or maybe I can come in 10 minutes late and I'm not going to have a panic attack in the car on my way over. So I actually feel like there's a very much a positive force of good going on here, where you're inspiring people to kind of take life by the horns and do what they want to do and think about themselves. A lot of people, and I'm hearing that song Renegade by Taylor Swift. And I know she says, I don't know, I can't remember the lyrics, but she's talking about, a guy who feels like he kind of doesn't need anyone and is very bold. And I feel like that's you guys. Like, a lot of people might have tried to attach themselves to you, but it feels like you're just kind of going through life on your own terms, and you're not gonna settle for anything like that doesn't really super resonate with you. And I feel like you're always in that exploratory, bold, like, I'm doing things my way. I just heard I Did It My Way by Frank Sinatra. I feel like you guys also really like a challenge, and a lot of people really love that about you. You're not, like I said, scared or afraid or nervous. You're just like, bring it on down, bring on the challenge, let's do it. And I feel like that you might find a lot of people are weirdly competitive with you. Like, you're driving and someone starts randomly like driving right next to you and like kind of edging ahead of you and then falling back. And then you're like, okay, I guess I'll merge over then. And then they follow you, or you know what I mean? Or like you're walking on the sidewalk and the next thing you know, someone's like pacing right next to you, and you're like, is this person, like, are they doing something? Like, what is going on? Or why are all my coworkers competitive with me? And I feel like it's because people just assume you have this natural fiery kind of passionate quality to you. I feel like you don't really necessarily always like to turn your competitive side on, but when you do, it's like game over. It's like you're gonna win and it doesn't matter, and good luck to everyone else, but you're gonna win. And so people kind of know that about you. You might even roll your eyes like, oh God, another person like racing next to me as I just try to drive down a road. But I feel like there's something about your energy that also brings that out, this bright spark and power you carry, because you guys carry a lot of power with you. So I feel like people think about that about you. Like, they think about how powerful you are, and also very full of life and joyful. You know, there's something about you that, like, I feel like if you were at a lunch, you would order exactly what you want to eat and you would like enjoy every bite of it. Or you would have, if someone else is like, oh gosh, we can't, it's lunch, so we can't order a drink, you'd be like, I'm having a double martini. Anyone want anything else? And again, it inspires other people to like, maybe I could try that. Maybe I'm not going to get a double martini, but maybe I can have maybe I can have a little glass of wine, a small glass of wine. And then they find that they're actually really enjoying themselves, and they really, enjoy it even more. And they're like, maybe actually I'm getting the dessert too, because they just see how much fun you have and how much you bring that out. I feel like you guys also have a very infectious laugh, a very loud laugh, but like when you laugh, your whole face lights up. You have an infectious smile as well, is what I'm hearing. Let me get some of these cards too. Spirit, can you give me guidance for pile 3 about what makes them unforgettable? So we just got Sisters of the Seasons, Cycles of Growth, Natural Law, Divine Order, the Map Maker of Destiny, Authentic Purpose, Inspiration, Free Will, Chess Queen, Trust, Strategizing. I'm getting a strong Mercury energy that just started coming through for you guys. And Mercury is like the trickster of the zodiac. And I feel like you guys are kind of tricksters. You either like to play pranks on people, or you kind of have this mischievous quality where you might say something controversial once in a while just to see what people have to say, just to like see everyone be like, oh my, wow, I can't believe you would say that. Like, I feel like you just get a kick out of certain things, or like you would just make a project late just because it's going to freak out your coworker, like I'm reminded of this one teacher we had in high school, and for some reason all the male students like loved playing pranks on him, probably because he would get really mad, but he never did anything about it. He never like actually like expelled anyone or would send them to detention. But so they loved to play pranks. Like I remember one day, everyone, like this one guy was like eating in class, which obviously is not even allowed. So there was always nonsense going on in that class. And then I remember he got mad at that guy and he was like, go out to the hall. And so then one of his friends asked to go to the bathroom. And then another friend asked to like go get a drink of water. And then finally, we all, like all the students knew what was going on, but for some reason this teacher was kind of clueless and would never notice. And so this is probably why it happened. But then we got a knock on the door and there was another teacher and he was like, did you know that there's like a large circle of students outside in the hallway eating different foods outside of your classroom? And he looked outside and like all the guys from that class who were like friends with each other had all gone outside and were like sitting around eating like chips and passing around like sandwiches and stuff. It was so odd. Like that class, that's like one story, and there was always some craziness going on in that class. And I mean craziness. But that's just like one thing where I almost feel like they got a kick out of driving him crazy, because he would start going on rants and stuff, but he never like did anything. He could have sent them all down to the principal's office, but he never did anything. So it just like kept going. But my point is, I feel like you would be that kind of person that you would get a kick out of something like that. Like it would make you laugh and you're not being mean. And it wasn't like they were trying to be mean to him, but it's like kind of just like, that's kind of funny. That's kind of a fun thing to do, and it's like if someone gets offended by you, maybe you find that kind of comical, because I am feeling this strong Mercury energy that is a prankster and loves to kind of like cause a little mischief and like start something that's not necessarily like a bad thing or like something toxic, but just have a little bit of a laugh, have a little bit of mischief. Why not? So I feel like people love that sense of fun you guys give off. They love that side to you that's just kind of doesn't take anything too serious, always has a happy disposition, always just kind of relaxed about it, Let's get some of these cards as well. Spirit, can you give me guidance for pile 3 about what makes them unforgettable? Many masks, the authentic self, hollow bone, teachability, and spirit of the river, movement towards adventure. That's definitely what I'm getting for you guys. With many masks, I do feel that, again, it's funny, you're one of the only people that I feel like is really good at, and I know we kind of gloss over these cards, but I was just channeling. So I'm like, okay, how do I, maybe I'll try to circle back and talk about some of them, but with many masks, I feel like you guys just are that person who is so authentic and you're so real. And it makes other people realize how much they've been wearing a mask, or how much they've been afraid to say whatever they think, or how much they've been holding themselves back or trying to fit in. It feels like you don't really care about fitting in. You're just going to do you. You're very set on, like, I feel like with the map maker of destiny, there's almost a soul purpose you might have to inspire people to step into their truth and to really live their life authentically, and not to be afraid and not to hold themselves back. Because I think a lot of people nowadays are afraid of being authentic and afraid of not fitting in and afraid of seeming weird. And you're that person that's like, think I'm weird, don't care. As long as I'm having fun, that's all that matters to me. So I actually feel like you end up serving as a big teacher for a lot of people. And there's a very strong, almost like past life energy of maybe you've been ostracized in the past. I just heard that line from Taylor Swift where she says, I forget the name of the song, but all the Swifties will know it. And oh, I did something bad. That's the name. And she says, so light me up, go ahead and light me up. And she's basically like creating a metaphor for, I don't know, the Salem witch trials or whatever. And she's like, burn me at the stake. I don't care. I don't regret what I did. I don't regret what I said. And she said, I had a lot of fun doing it. In the song, she's like, and it was so much fun, and I do it all over again, and I don't care about the backlash. And of course, she wrote it, and it came out at a time when she was still getting public backlash from it. Now, so funny how the tides have shifted with that, totally unsurprising to me. But it's funny because when you think about, like, however long ago that was, and whenever she wrote it, a lot of people were still like, shame on Taylor, shame on her for doing that. And it's like now everyone has kind of realized the truth, but you have to be willing to stand in your truth and be like, yeah, I did say it and I believe it, and that's what it is. And then wait for like others to catch up. And I feel like you're always in that energy where you're like, I'm going to say what I think. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care if it offends you. I don't care if it's controversial. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. And it's not even like an issue of controversy. I feel like sometimes people just aren't comfortable when someone's living their truth. And you're very like, I'm going to live whatever I want, whether it's something as simple as like ordering that extra dessert at dinner, or maybe saying how I feel about a certain issue and maybe someone doesn't want to hear me say whatever. I don't know. I just feel like there's something super bold about you guys and very unafraid. Let me get some astro dice as well for pile 3. So we got 9th house, Sagittarius, Neptune, and we got Capricorn. So that's really interesting. So we have Sagittarius, Capricorn, and then we have Neptune. So I do feel like you guys have definitely that Sagittarius energy coming through really boldly. 9th house Sagittarius energy is all about exploration, exploring. Also, Jupiter is about abundance and expansion. And so you guys might have a strong appetite for life in general. Just someone that loves to more and more and more of everything. Like you're not someone that would like buy just like one small kind of plain shirt, but you're like, give me the one with the sparkles and the glitter, and I'm going to buy 5 of them and I love them. Or, like I said, it might be something where you're like, yeah, I am ordering an extra slice of pizza or something. But I feel like it's all about this appetite, this boldness, this love for life that you guys have. With Capricorn's all about getting things done and all about, I feel like, committing to something and getting it done. And that's why Mars is exalted in Capricorn, is because it's that slow and steady progress, but that once they get determined on something, that's it. And they're not going to be dissuaded from it. They're going to make sure they do it. It's also the 10th house of honors and like public acclaim. So I do feel like a lot of people notice you guys, and you might have been elected into positions of authority and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people actually really trust your judgment and look up to you in that way, and really admire the way you carry yourself. Although I feel like sometimes they're like almost a little not scared of you, but kind of like, wow, oh my God. Like it's almost like you can pull things off that no one else could pull off. You can do things and say things and get things done. Like I said, show up an hour late or whatever. And I feel like you inspire people, And then sometimes they resent you for this, but also it inspires them of like, you know, maybe I don't have to live so rigidly. But you might get a lot of jealousy, hater energy with people kind of being also very annoyed by this at times because of their own jealousy. And with Neptune, you know, what I'm getting with that is that you guys definitely do your own thing. It's interesting we got Neptune and then Spirit of the River, because obviously Neptune is a water sign and heavily related to water because it is the fish, Pisces, 12th house energy. And with that coming through, you know, 12th house is an energy that also has to do with like monasteries and prisons. And there might be this energy recurrent in your life because I keep getting sometimes you get in trouble for things or you don't care about getting in trouble. It might have been an energy where you have gotten in trouble a lot or you've had a lot of this Capricorn restriction in your life. And so now you don't care. You're like, yeah, I don't care if I get in trouble. Get mad at me, penalize me. Don't care, not interested. But I also feel like with that 12th house energy, the thing that comes from that is like, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm not so much connected to other people. I'm not so much worried about what other people have to say. I'm just in my own energy, drifting off into the astral plane, getting guidance from spirit. I'm not caring so much about this earthly plane and what this person thinks. And like, well, Susie was really offended when you missed her lunch social. Like, I don't care. I didn't want to go. I didn't go. That's it. You know, I feel like that's you guys as well. Like you're very focused on yourself and you're very in touch with yourself. And I think that makes you very different from most people because most people, let's be honest, are very worried about other people's opinions and don't really march to the beat of their own drum. You guys definitely march to the beat of your own drum. And I feel like at first people don't know what to take with you with that, but then they really respect that. They think that's really cool. And yeah, you guys are a really fun, strong, like bold, exciting energy. I feel like you're just always keeping everyone on your toes and you live a very exciting life. I'm seeing people in my mind that I can't remember the name of the guy. But it's one of my favorite books, Legends of the Fall. Oh, Jim Harrison. Okay, so Jim Harrison wrote Legends of the Fall, and he's like a famous bon vivant. Like he just has this big appetite for life, and he is such an amazing author and imbues kind of this like lust he has for everything, you know, for like good food, for experience into that book and into all his writings in general. And I feel like that's kind of you. You're that kind of like legend character who would just take things on and not be afraid of what other people say and like live life very loudly with big colors, you know, not trying to hold yourself back, not scared, not nervous, but just doing your own thing. And I feel like a lot of people really respect this pile 3. I feel like you guys are quite the exciting person to be around. So I love this energy. We are going to be taking this over to Patreon to get the extended version of this, go into a lot greater detail. We're going to be talking about who you're unforgettable to, why these people keep thinking of you, who they are specifically from your past or present situation, and more about the features that are making you unforgettable and leave this impression on so many people. So if you'd like to join, the link for that is going to be underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. And of course, when you do sign up, you get access to all of my previous readings. So 35 additional readings all about love, career, spirituality, relocation, all different kinds of topics. We just did one the other day, which was all about tricks or treats from the universe. So surprises coming your way, as well as what you need to know about the people around you. So that one's kind of a shady, juicy reading, but there's a lot to choose from, a lot to listen to and peruse from. I would absolutely love to have you guys there joining our little party and community on Patreon. So like I said, if you'd like to sign up, the link for that is going to be underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know how it resonated because I'm very curious about you guys in particular. Pile 3, you just have piqued my interest for sure with this kind of exciting life you guys are living. So please let me know. I always love reading them, love reading what you guys have to say about how it resonates. So let me know your thoughts and make sure to hit the like button, guys. That really helps. And it's always like nice to know that it resonated for you in that way. And make sure to subscribe as well so you can can join our little party over here too. And make sure to turn on notifications so you can find out as soon as I post and be the first to see it. So thank you guys again for watching. And if you'd like to get a private session with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and get an hour-long session or a half-hour-long session with me, personalized. So whatever questions you'd like to ask about, we can answer them. Or if you just want me to openly channel, we can do that as well. It's your time and your sessions. You get to choose how it goes. So anyway, with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you guys so much love and light. Have an amazing day, guys, and I will see you very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 4, let's get into your cards. We're going to do a live shuffle and figure out what makes you guys unforgettable. So we got the Magician, we got the 5 of Wands. So I feel like the first thing I'm getting through is when you guys put your mind to something, it's like it's done and dusted. You know, it is going to happen, period, point blank. I don't care. Like, people should not bet against you guys, because you are someone that, like I said, once you put your mind to something, you're super determined and you're gonna make it happen. And you have the intelligence, the grit, the perseverance to do it. So I feel like a lot of people think back on you and think about how much you've accomplished, or think about how bold you are and unafraid. I also feel like you guys have really excellent taste in things. So you might be the first person who's like trying a new fashion trend out before it becomes a big thing. Or you might be the first person who's into a music genre before it becomes huge and everyone starts listening to it. So there might be a little bit of like a time gap where at first people are like, what are they doing? Why are they into this? That's so weird. It's so weird that they listen to this type of music, or it's so weird that they dress this way. And then cut to like a year or two later and everyone's dressing that way and they're like, oh my gosh, pile 4, like, wait, they were the first person who was into that, and that's really cool. But I feel like you have a really good mind for seeing what's new, fresh, different, and kind of bringing it forth into the world. I'm hearing some of you guys would make excellent stockbrokers, because you're literally good at like intuitively knowing which companies are about to become really huge. And if you could, like, even though maybe you can't really invest in like a stock of like a trend, but if you could, you'd be good at that as well, because you're great at like identifying trends before they catch on, or identifying like a small independent movie and then it blows up and becomes huge, but you were one of the first people who was into it and was telling all your friends like, you should watch this, and everyone's like, no, I don't like those kinds of movies. But then they finally watch it and then they're like, wait, that's amazing, and now I'm seeing this movie everywhere, and pile 4 was the first one who was onto it, or was the first one listening to a certain band, and then it blew up. I feel like you guys just have really an eye for like what's cool, different, new, and fresh, and your mind is very like unlimited, you know. Like a lot of people I feel like have certain ideas of like, oh, well, I only watch this type of film, or oh, I'm only into this type of music, or well, I don't want to watch anything from like this other country or culture or in a different language, because yeah, that's weird and I can't understand it, so I'm not interested. And you don't have that limited mindset. Like, you're like, oh, it's in a different language, that's cool, is it good, you know? Or oh, it's from a different culture that I know nothing about. Oh, how interesting. Okay, cool. I'm definitely down to explore it then. Like, you do not have a limited mindset like a lot of people. You're very like bold and open and unafraid. And I could definitely see you guys in this pile also becoming entrepreneurs or being entrepreneurs, because I feel like you have that same kind of mindset that you could apply towards business, and that kind of fresh, like trying something new kind of vibe. And you're very highly intelligent. So I also feel like there's a vibe where even if you started a bunch of different businesses, it's not like they would all be failures, or if they were failures, you would still learn something from it and take something away from it. And there would be like a success aspect coming out of it some way, just because you manage things very well. Like, you wouldn't start a business and being like, we're blowing the whole business on the opening party to have custom designed like magical golden cupcakes, you know, or something. You'd be that person that like knows how to manage things, is very smart, is very intelligent. And so even if you are an entrepreneur, you'd just be really great at like figuring out how to run the business very quickly and efficiently, you know. I could also see you guys, even if you have a 9-to-5, having like side hustles or whatever. You're just that personality of someone that likes to be busy, likes to be doing things, likes to be trying things new. I could also see you guys as being very physically fit or just physically vigorous, like someone who has a naturally strong body or doesn't get sick often or likes to work out, but there's a very strong element of strength when it comes to your physical body. Let's see what else we're going to get. Also, I feel like you guys are very creative. And we got the 9 of Wands. So much wand energy coming through. So that is, we've got a lot of wands in a lot of these readings. So that's Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Ace of Pentacles, like I was saying, lots of different businesses and stuff. And we got the 6 of Cups. So it's interesting. We got the Queen of Cups reversed, and then we got the 6 of Cups reversed, both coming out reversed. I feel like you don't seem like the type to be really nostalgic. So there might be people from your past who would like want to reach out to you, but then they're kind of afraid that if they do, that you'd be like, why are you contacting me? Like, who are you? I don't care, because they don't see you as someone who's like overly sentimental or like sitting at home crying and thinking about the past. It feels like you're always onto something new, looking forward, paying attention to the future. So I feel like a lot of people would just be afraid to like slide in your DMs or contact you from your past, even if they are thinking about you a lot, because you just seem like you'd be like, who are you? I don't even remember. Sorry, I've like met like 100 other people since I met you last week, so I don't even care, let alone if it's from like years ago. They would just assume that you have had so many other experiences, you've done so much, you've been into so many different things that you just really don't have time to like reminisce about your past and to be like moping around thinking about an ex. I feel like a lot of people just assume that you lead this very busy life, that you're always doing something new, that you're always on something new, paying attention to something new, and that you just have all these different interests, that you're just very busy, that you're just very invested in things and not overly sentimental. But also I'm getting with that Queen of Cups, that's a very creative card. And I feel like you guys have a very creative side to you that you might express through your fashion or the way you dress. I could also see you guys just being very creative when it comes to like being able to write or being able to write a song or a book or paint something really amazing. But I feel like there's almost this creative side of you that kind of needs to be let out and channeled. I feel like you guys just have a lot of natural energy in your body as well. You might be kind of like ADHD or someone who just fidgets a lot. But I feel like it would be good for you guys in pile 4 to go to the gym regularly just to like displace this energy, because I do feel like it built up in you. And if you're the kind of person that like hasn't worked out in a couple of days, you'll probably get kind of annoyed and in a bad mood and negative. And you should know that a lot of that is just this buildup of energy that happens in your body because you have a lot of natural power. I could see the sun being very strong in your chart. So you might have aspects like the sun in the first house, or I could see a Mars sun aspect, Jupiter sun, but I just feel like you guys are very powerful. I could see the sun in the 6th house. But I feel like you guys just constantly have this excess of energy, and it's very important for you to kind of put it out there in the world and in the universe. I also feel like you guys are master manifestors, so people do think of you as someone who's going to have quite a lot of success no matter what you guys end up doing, that you're going to be successful, you're going to end up achieving something. No matter what field you're in, it's going to end up, with some kind of honors or people paying attention to you. You might naturally be kind of the center of attention and have a lot of eyes on you. I also feel like a lot of people perceive you as being quite a lot of fun and just a really good time. Like you have a great sense of humor, you're great at laughing, you're great at coming up with like something witty. I'm hearing witty repartee. So I feel like you guys always have something to add to the conversation or something interesting to say, something to bring to, the table. You're not just going to sit there kind of quietly and not say anything. And if you are doing that, it's probably because you're thinking of like your business or your bag or thinking of a certain goal you have. I feel like you guys are quite goal oriented, and people just see you as someone who has success as an inevitability in your future. No matter what you do, you're going to end up having some kind of success in some kind of field, whatever it may be. That's just like a sure thing in people's minds. They just see it as like, of course, they'll end up succeeding. Of course, they will end up doing amazing things and accomplishing so much. They just see that as like, it's just a foregone conclusion. It's just period gonna happen no matter what. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people see you also as someone who kind of spends time in like rarefied air, so to speak. So like maybe that if you were at a company, that you would be at a really successful company, or if you were in a friend group, that it would be a really competitive friend group with like people who've accomplished a lot. Or if you're dating, that you would be dating like the top tier of people. I don't know, this is kind of a weird thing to come through, but I just feel like with that Nine of Wands, a lot of people see you as like, it's kind of like you're always bringing your A game, and you'll only surround yourself with people who will also bring their A game. So again, I feel like a lot of people, they would be kind of afraid to slide into your DMs because they would feel that you would think like, what are you doing? Like I've had a million other interactions since I met you. And honestly, also like if you were too just I just was going to combine the words shy and chicken. So maybe I was going to say chicken or something. But anyway, I don't know how my mind is working today. But if they were too shy in the past to talk to you, you're kind of like not interested in talking to them. You're like, sorry, I can't be around someone who like was afraid. I can't be around someone who chickened out. I just not my thing. God bless you, but no thanks, I'm not interested. So I feel like a lot of people would want to talk to you, but again, there's this fear, there's this intimidation factor that they're not able to bring as much to the table to fit like your level, because I feel like you guys have achieved a lot of success, or you're surrounded with a lot of people who have achieved success. And if someone doesn't have like their bag figured out, their career figured out, their life figured out, they're definitely not going to want to step up to you in that way, because they just feel like it would just not be good enough. So let's get some more cards for pile. Oh, wow. We got the Dragon's Jewel flying out. I feel like you guys would be great in arguments. Like a lot of people might be intimidated because of this as well. Queen of the Light, Illumination, Enlightenment, Celebration, the Rainbow Prince, Compensation, Perseverance. And let's get, oh, that's too many. Let's not read 3 extra cards. We want 1 more or 2 more, Spirit. Sisters of the Season, Cycles of Growth, Natural Law, Divine Order. So there's something about you guys that's really so much fun to be around. Like when you're actually enjoying yourself and hanging out, I feel like you are just so much fun, and people just love to hear you laugh. People just love to be around you. Like you can just really be the life of the party. And so many people, I feel like, look back on their time with you and they just think of like all the jokes you would crack or the funny things you would say. And I feel like they just love like that side to you. Like when you are such a go-getter, but it's almost like you're a go-getter with everything. You're not just a go-getter when it comes to your career and then it kind of turns off in your personal life. I feel like in your personal life, you're a go-getter as well. You might be that person that like all your friends would say like, hey, go up and talk to him. Like, I have a crush on that guy. Can you approach him and ask him for his number? Or, you know, I have a crush on that girl. Can you go talk to her and bring her over here? Like, and you would be that person who's not afraid, who's like, sure, I'll do it. Or you'd be happy to do a dare, or you would be happy to do a funny dance if it's going to make everyone laugh. I just feel like you are so much fun to be around. People get a kick out of your laugh. They love to have fun with you. It's almost like you don't take things too seriously. You kind of let them roll off your back, which I feel like is a very, you know, fire energy to be honest, even though people say, and fire signs do have a temper, but a lot of fire signs, especially like Aries, will be like, yeah, I don't even care anymore. Like I'm on to, because fire is very quick energy. So they're kind of on to the next. They're not going to like ruminate and sit around and be sad about it. They're kind of just going to be like, oh yeah, I remember I got really mad at you about that. Anyway, so I was thinking about this and they're not going to like stay super heavy in that moment. So I feel like you just bring this light, this happy, fiery, excitable energy to things. And I think that feistiness makes people see you in a very attractive light as well. They see you as someone who probably like would bring that feistiness into the bedroom. I don't want to talk too much about that, although I am going to be doing an extended on Patreon, so we might get into that over on Patreon. But I do feel like you guys just seem like people just assume that you have that spark to you, that you're someone who is very like passionate about everything, you know, and you're like a go-getter and you would like go the extra mile in every area of your life, including romantically or in the bedroom. So again, I'm not going to talk too much about it over here, but yeah, I feel like there's that aspect of you that just people just assume that you're kind of good in bed and that you're fun, you're exciting, you'd make a great partner. You make a great boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse because I feel like you're always doing something new. Like you're not hard to get, playing hard to get, you are hard to get. You always are excitable, you're always very dynamic. You probably have a big friend group or people assume that about you. And people just assume you have a very packed social calendar, that you're always going here, going there, doing things. You have like, a full inbox of your texts or your emails, that you're just very in demand. People just perceive that like so many people want to be around you. Let's get some more cards for pile 4. Joyful muse, inspiration. What was I saying? You guys if you're not doing it already, you would be fantastically great at making some kind of art. I feel creative projects on things, like you're just really good at, I feel like, because fire energy is very creative, even though a lot of times we associate creativity with water, and that's kind of connecting with the divine to get your inspiration. But fire is like that other form of creativity that's like this very bold, like kind of like not necessarily that artist that's going to sit around and, cry over their art and think about like the meaning of this and the ties to that, but just that very intuitive, bold artist that might like paint some modern art that's like very intense, emotional, and just bold. And it's not necessarily going to be that movie that's going to be like the sad black and white shot of the rain running down the window, but it is going to be really exciting and fun, and might have some really deep emotional truth to it, but just maybe a little bit more fast paced and intuitive and just instant, like not so much this deep filter over it, I guess, if you get what I'm saying, but just very like honest, that's kind of fire energy. So I feel like for you guys, if you did make art, you would make it so honest and so intense, and people could feel the truth of it resonating with them. So if you guys haven't done art, people do perceive you as someone who's very creative and has that side to you. Even if you're not necessarily someone who dresses in a super artistic way or doesn't try to come off in a super artistic way, I feel like you do have that side to you, and you might just express it in your financial or economic projects as well, like with your businesses or something. It just feels like you're very creative when it comes to it. You're very like open and new, and if someone comes to you with like a crazy business idea that everyone else might turn them down on, you're like, I'm definitely down. So I feel like a lot of people like watching your social media because also they kind of never know what to expect with you. It feels like you might be traveling a lot, going new places, or always reinventing yourself. But I feel like if they tune into your social media, it's never going to be like dull. It's never just going to be like, oh, okay, I think this is the same thing they were posting last week. It's always you're somewhere new, or you're with somewhere new, or you're trying something new. And I feel like that is the thing that a lot of people really love and can't forget about you, is like this lust for life, this appetite for life that you guys have. Also with closing door, people perceive that once you guys are done with a certain situation, or once you are over a certain situation, like you're not coming back into it. So again, I feel like there's a lot of people who would like to still be in contact with you, and they can't forget you, but they're definitely hesitant to approach you because they see you as so strong-willed, and they see you as someone who just isn't the type to revisit the past, isn't the type to be like sad and moping and thinking about whatever happened, 5 years ago, but is constantly looking at like new, now, next, what's happening now, what's happening in my life in this moment. That just seems to be your energy. Like you're very exploratory and excitable and focused on the present. You're not living in the past. So a lot of people definitely, I feel like, would reach out to you a little bit more, but there's that fear that you're not necessarily going to say yes. And then we also got deep, quiet, meditation, and stillness. So when it comes to you with that card, you might have a spiritual component of yourself that you give off. I do feel like you guys have a spiritual side, and fire can also be intuition and spirituality in that way. It's a little different from water, like I said, but it's also related to, other forms of kind of spirituality, in my opinion. So I feel like you guys are very intuitive, and you are someone that people perceive that as being a part of your life. So you might do yoga, or you might have other forms of practicing spirituality that people are aware of. I don't feel like you're that mopey spirituality, but you are that spirituality that you might openly practice things, or people can see that side to you that's very, like I said, intuitive and And that's what I love about fire, is they're not sitting around ruminating. They're just kind of acting from their instinct, which is spirituality. And then we also have watchers. So I do feel like you are on a lot of people's minds, and people perceive you as being a little bit of the center of attention in that way. So I feel like all of this combines to make you very unforgettable and make people kind of regret if they don't have you in their life anymore. Let's get some astro dice for pile 4. So we just got the 5th house, aka Leo, not a surprise. Then we got the moon and we got Libra as well. So with the 5th house, Leo, that is, like we were just talking about, center of attention energy. And the cool thing about the 5th house is it does relate to creative projects, hobbies, that kind of a thing, things you love. I also just got the message that some of you guys have a pet, a dog or a cat that you're really, really connected to, really close to. I'm seeing someone cuddling with their dog. And I feel like a lot of people think of how you take care of this pet, because it's almost like you make them a little princess, or you make them just, you take such good care of them. You're so loyal to the people around you. You look out for your little tribe, like your family or your friends or whoever's in your life. You really look out for them and like take care of them to such a crazy extent. People just really notice this about you, that you're not kind of a fair weather friend, or you're not someone who just, is nice to someone, but they can't call you if they're in trouble. Like, I feel like you're just ride or die. You would be so loyal. Like if someone was in trouble or someone needed you for something, you would like drive across the state or drive across the country or do whatever you can. You are also very reliable and dependable. And when you say you're going to be somewhere, you actually mean it. You're not someone who just says things just to say them, or just to seem nice, or just like, well, that would be a nice thing to say, so I'm just going to say it and I don't really mean it. You really mean, your words mean something. Your word is your bond, and you guys take that very seriously. So I feel like a lot of people really respect that. People are coming through with a lot of respect from your past when they think about you. It's like, it's with this, like I said, respect. Like they look at you and they kind of look up to you. They don't see you as trifling or someone who's kind of like embarrassing in a way. I feel like the more time that passes, the more they're like, wow, that was a really good person. And you know what? They are really accomplished too. And like, I can see them doing super well as well. And like, anyone who's in their life is super lucky to be around them. And that also is coming through with the moon, that protective, almost motherly quality, who will look out for those around you. And then we also have Libra. And for me, I feel like Libra is one of the most diplomatic signs, very good at kind of diffusing situations, very good at knowing how to handle themselves with kind of grace and comportment. And I feel like you guys have that quality too. Like, you are someone who knows how to act in different social situations, and you're not going to edit yourself, but I almost feel like you have a natural charm. So you could meet someone totally new from a totally different culture with maybe different etiquette or customs, and just intuitively know how to handle yourself. And you just have that level of grace that even if you did something that's like maybe even a faux pas in their culture, you just have such a graceful, likable quality to you that you could almost like laugh it off, or just, it wouldn't be the crisis that it would be for someone else. I feel like a lot of people think of you guys as just this powerhouse, like someone that they really respect the heck out of and look up to and think back to as like, wow, that was a really kind of strong, powerful, fascinating person. And I'm really grateful for the time I got to spend with them. So yeah, that is what I have for you, pile 4. We're going to be taking this over to Patreon for the extended version of it, where we're going to be going into a lot greater detail about these characteristics and about who these people are specifically who keep thinking about you. So why are you so unforgettable? What kind of effect have you had on them? And what kind of thoughts are they thinking about you when they do this reminiscing? We're going to get into all of it over on Patreon. And if you'd like to join, the link for that is going to be underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. I would love to have you guys there. And if you do sign up, you get access to all of my previous readings. So 35 additional readings all about love, career, spirituality, all kinds of different topics. I can't even think of everything, but 35 different topics. We just did one all about tricks or treats from the universe, so surprises coming your way, as well as what you need to know about the people around you. So that one's kind of shady and juicy, and we got a lot of good info in that. But I would love to have you guys there joining our little party on Patreon. And like I said, the link for that is underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would absolutely love to hear from you about how it resonated. I'm always really curious, and definitely curious about you guys with this powerful energy coming through. Woo! So please let me know your thoughts, what you thought about it, and how it resonated in your life. And make sure to hit the like button as well. That really helps. And make sure you're subscribed so you can join our little community here. I would love to have you here. And make sure you have notifications on. Hit the bell so you can find out as soon as I post and be the first to watch it and to know. And if you guys would like a private one-on-one session with me, you can always get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, for a half-hour or full-hour session where I can answer specific questions for you. You can ask whatever you'd like, or we can do just open channeling, whichever you'd prefer. You kind of get to choose how it goes. So if you'd like to sign up for that, like I said, head to briarrosetarot.com and sign up for a session. I'd love to do a reading for you. Yeah, so I think that's all I have to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am sending you lots of love and light. Have an amazing day, guys, and I will see you guys very soon in the future. Take care. Bye.